O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Thursday, March 17th, 2022. Stand up for your country. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So we'll have a little bit about the real guy, St. Patrick, in the history segment at the end of the broadcast tonight. And on WABC Radio, we went over my lineage. I'm more than 90% Irish. That's frightening. So my people have been here for so long in this country. My mother's side arrived right after the Mayflower. And we O'Reillys hung around with other Irish people, I guess. So St. Patrick was a force of good, and now we have to deal with a force of evil, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So Vladimir Putin is evil. I mean, he's just a person who wants to hurt other people. It's apparent. You know, you can't watch the pictures coming out of Ukraine and not come to that conclusion. There's no two sides to the story. Putin's evil. He doesn't have to do this. There's no reason why he's doing it. There's no benefit to the Russian people beginning a war like this. And so many thousands are being killed and maimed and wounded. And now we have more than 3 million people dislocated. That's going to go up to 5 soon, 5 million people out of their homes. And these aren't people that have a lot of resources. It's not like America where we have money in the bank and investment. This is not that. And Putin doesn't care, couldn't care less. So how do you defeat evil? It's not easy, obviously. If it were easy, we would have defeated evil a long time ago in this world. But it just keeps coming and coming and coming. So the thing that you don't do when you're fighting an evil, and believe me, I have fought evil. And sometimes evil has defeated me. All right, but I have fought it hand to hand. I know what it is. So you don't fight evil with emotion. That's number one. So, you know, when I've been watching a little bit more television news because I want to get the latest pictures from Ukraine. And what I hear is frightening on American television news. It's just awful. It's a bunch of people who really don't know much, spouting this gibberish, and much of it is based on emotion, not facts. So I want to walk through this tonight with you because it affects your life directly. Putin's affecting all of our lives. He's thrown a worldwide economy into jeopardy. He's heightening inflation. He's creating stress because of a possible nuclear war. So we're all affected by this. It's not like this, well, Ukraine, what do we care? No, that's not what this is. So number one, we have to stop this man, we being the Western world, the democracies. You just can't let him do what he wants. So about, 15% of Americans, maybe 20, they let him do what he wants. Okay, same thing with China. Yeah, China wants Taiwan, get right ahead. We've always had that here, always had it. In the 1930s, about 50% of the American population coming out of a depression, they were happy to let Hitler do whatever he wanted to do. You know, they were going, wait a minute. It's not our business over there. We don't want another World War I. So if Adolf's running wild in Europe, so what? That was a huge movement. If you read Killing Patton, we go over. And there were very prominent people like Charles Lindbergh, Joseph Kennedy, big shots, saying, leave them alone. The only reason we got in against Hitler is because of Pearl Harbor. And once the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, we had to declare war, and the Japanese and Hitler had an alliance with them, a treaty with them. And that's how that started. But we let Hitler run wild, we, the United States, for almost 6 years. I mean, that's how intense this thing was. So we have to confront this Putin. And you got to do it in a way that doesn't explode, pardon the word, into World War III with nuclear weapons. Now, again, some people just don't understand. Oh, let's do the no-fly zone. Well, that's a provocation. It might be justified, and I think it is, a no-fly zone over Ukraine. But if you do it, you're provoking a nuclear power which is run by a madman. Yeah, Putin's mad. Don't think he's not. You don't do this if you're a stable human being. Now, he might not be foaming at the mouth, Hannibal Lecter mad, but he's something wrong with him. Okay, so because of the threat of a much wider war where millions of people, not thousands, would be killed and dislocated, you've got to stair step it against Putin, but he's got to go eventually. But Americans are impatient. Oh, let's go. Let's get him. You can't do that because then you'll destroy yourself. All right? So the economic sanctions are the big thing. They're going to strangle the Russian people. And the Russian people are the key to Putin's demise. The Russian people turn against him, all right, en masse. Putin can't survive even with the secret police and the army. He can't. All right, we've seen it, Gaddafi in Libya. I mean, tyrant after tyrant after tyrant goes down because the people rise up. That's what the West has to do. In the meantime, we have to protect as many Ukrainians as we can. All right? We have a moral obligation to do that. Now, this MiG plane thing, this is so stupid. It just, this is what I mean. I'm watching television and I'm going, you got these generals on, general is 4-star. Look, just because you're a general doesn't mean you know anything. Look at Milley. He's the top commander in the United States. You trust this guy, Milley? I don't. So the general, MiGs, we gotta bring a MiG. Look, I'll say it one more time. I'm not going to say it again. The Ukrainian Air Force cannot compete against the Soviet Air Force. It doesn't matter what they're riding in. Most of those planes, if brought into Ukraine by any way, are not even going to get off the ground. All right? The Russian Air Force will destroy them as they sit on the ground, awaiting to take off. And the few that do go up are going to get blown out of the sky. Okay? Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. So then, what are alternatives? Well, a humanitarian no-fly zone is doable. That would have to be by order of the United Nations. Okay? So the U.S. could say, yeah, we'd like it, but the whole world has to say to Putin, we're going to form a corridor out of Ukraine so people who want to flee, so you don't kill them, can do it in safety. Now, Putin may not honor that. He may gun down civilians, as he's doing now. But at least the world will even see more horror. And this puts pressure on China. And I'm going to get to China in a moment, okay, because Biden's talking to Xi tomorrow. If more pressure on China not to help Putin, that is huge. Because without China, Putin's not going to be able to hang on. If China ever turned against Putin, which of course it should, then Putin's done. Then the Russian army would go, we can't continue with Putin. That's how important China is. Okay, so we have politics injected in this as well in America. And I suspect in other countries, but not to the extent that we have politics, because we have a cycle, a political cycle here, and we have two sides, all right, conservatives and liberals. Now, they have that in Great Britain, they have it in Canada, they have it, but not to the extent that we have it. Because here in America, these are industries, okay? They make millions and millions of dollars. The conservative media industry, the liberal media industry. Keep that in mind. Other countries don't have that. So on the conservative side, there are right-wingers who say, look, Biden is so bad that I'm not going to support anything he does. Across the board opposition to Biden. So if Biden wants this in Ukraine, I'm going to oppose. If Biden doesn't do this, I'm going to support. Now, I write a column today in the Message of the Day slot, okay, about that and how harmful that is to the conservative movement and to the country. You can't do that. Yes, Biden's terrible. He'll go down, I believe, in history as the third worst president we've ever had, maybe second. You can't top James Buchanan because he pretty much caused the Civil War, Buchanan. All right? So Biden is horrible. He's not going to get any better, in my opinion. Okay? And I don't think I'm wrong here. I always say I could be wrong. Not now. His own party very quietly doesn't want him to run again and is looking for alternatives right now. They'll never tell you, but that's what they're doing. That's how bad he is. But you don't say, we're not going to do what's necessary because you don't like Biden. And you don't say, well, because Biden won't enforce the southern border and immigration law, that we're going to oppose America helping Ukraine. That's just, you know what it is. I don't even have to put an adjective on it. You know. My audience knows what that is. Okay? We have a moral obligation here to protect and save as many Ukrainians as possible. If we could do it militarily, I get letters all the time. Well, we did it to Saddam. Saddam didn't have nukes. Right? He didn't have the largest military in the world as Russia does. The Balkans, when we went in there to save lives under Bill Clinton, they didn't have big weapons. We knew we could go in without creating a world war. In the Balkans, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. And Afghanistan didn't work out because of the Afghan people. Those people didn't want democracy. Period. No matter what we did, they were not going to embrace it. Okay, we gave you a shot. Supply chain issues have been a catalyst in bringing high-tech manufacturing back to the USA. My tech expert and founder of Brownstone Research calls it the Great Recalibration, and he discusses it in his newsletter, Near Future Report. For the past 35 years, he has helped his subscribers safely navigate volatile times, and he also answers your most pressing questions, like how to protect your money from inflation. What are the implications of a new digital currency and the Great Reset? What will the Fed do with interest rates? And what is expected from the stock market in 2022? Brownstone Research has been at the forefront of nearly every major market move for the past 35 years. Let Jeff Brown help you by signing up for his newsletter today at a 75% discount. It's a 12-month subscription for only $49. Please go to jeffbrowntech.com. 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 Pressure on Russia has to come in many ways in order to defeat Putin. It has to come economically, number one. And I think we're doing what we should do. There are always loopholes, and they need to be closed. Biden has not been as aggressive as he should have been, but he's getting pushed now, and he's doing what he should do. And remember, and it's not an excuse for Biden, he's got to get all the other NATO countries on board, which he has. So there's no dissent on NATO. They finally said, okay, enough of Putin. All right? So that's number one. Humanitarian is number two. We should be putting in there as much as we can. All right? And $800 million is a lot of money. And we could get the humanitarian stuff through Poland, through Romania, through the Czech Republic. Those borders, we can get the stuff into the people who need medicine and food and water and whatever, and we should. Okay? I don't think, does anybody disagree with that? I mean, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com if you do, but be cogent, please. Not a loon. And finally, China. Well, this is really important. So tomorrow, and that's a talking points memo, by the way. Let's get on to Biden. So tomorrow, Biden's got a phone call. We don't know what time yet with Xi. And it's going to be all Ukraine. He says he's going to talk about other stuff, but, yeah, you know, it's like, you've got to say, the United States got to say, look, we want your help. And if you give us help on this, you know, we'll look for a way to help you. You go positive. That's what Trump did. Okay? You go positive. You don't go in and go, hey, if you do this, I'm going to, you know. No. Okay? China already knows that if they invade Taiwan, that there'll be economic sanctions against China. And that'll hurt China a lot more than the sanctions are hurting Russia. Because China has an export economy. They sell things all over the world. That stops, Chinese people are going to have a lot of problems feeding themselves. Okay? So Xi knows that. But he's watching and he's waiting to see how allied the West is, because Xi's a killer too. Xi's evil too. He is not as evil as Putin, at least not yet. He might, they might go, they're going for the kind of evil Hall of Fame and they're trying to rack up points. But if you're the president of the United States, you say, look, we need your help. We need you to stop with this, footsie with Putin, tell him to get out of there. Because there's no reason for him to be in there. And today, the foreign minister of China said we wouldn't invade Ukraine. Okay? So they know, the Chinese know, but they want the West to be weak. Okay? China wants to weaken the West because China wants to be the dominant country in the world. So Putin's doing that. Putin is weakening the democracy, so that's why China's helping Putin. But if you make it painful for China, if you say, look, if you throw in with this guy because he's not going to last, that's going to be on your resume forever. So why don't you get on the right side of this? And why don't you tell Putin to knock it off and you're not going to help him? That's what my conversation with Xi is about. Why don't you do that? Now, Xi, again, is an evil guy. Who knows what he's going to say? But that's the way you present it. And then you talk about, after you present it that way, how bad Putin's getting hurt economically. You don't have to say we're going to do the same thing to China, but Xi will get the message. All right? So the CIA, who's been very good, by the way, on this whole Russian-Ukraine thing, CIA has got operatives all over Russia. And they know what's happening economically in the towns and cities across that gigantic country. The CIA was right on, all right, in calling what Putin would do. I kept looking at it and going, oh, geez, if he does this, he kills himself. And so I said he wouldn't. But the CIA was smarter than I was. All right, but they said, no, he's going to do it. Now, just remember that. Our intel services here in this area have been very good. So they know what's happening inside Russia, even though the press doesn't, because we don't have anybody there and there's no free press in Russia. CIA knows. All of that material should be in the hands of Joe Biden. And that's what he presents to Xi. And again, the unspoken message is, this could happen to you. All right. Now, unfortunately, the Irish Prime Minister, Michael Martin, was in D.C., and he was there for St. Patrick's Day, but he got COVID last night. So they had to whisk him out of the White House. And now he's going to have a virtual thing with Biden, but he got COVID. He doesn't have COVID bad. He's going to be on the Zoom or whatever they do. Again, this is a virus now, a flu. But I felt bad. This is Ireland's big day, and he's got COVID. We're not going to be able, I don't know if the White House is going to put a transcript of this Xi call. I would think no, but if they do, we will have it on BillO'Reilly.com. We'll post the whole thing tomorrow if they put it out. And remember, just a background, Xi is 68 years old. Okay, he's been in office for 9 years there. He's a virtual dictator. He got control of the government there. So what Xi says goes, just like Putin. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. I am an AMAC member, and you should be too. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful takes on today's news, and a magazine full of uncensored content that you will not find anywhere else. Most importantly, AMAC is working tirelessly to preserve the freedoms enshrined and secured by our Constitution. AMAC has become one of the most impactful organizations in America because more than just talk, AMAC gets things done. They are pushing back against the efforts to defund our police, weaken the borders, and replace your freedom with government control. But they need your help. Stand with me and more than 2 million patriots and join AMAC today at amac.us. That's AMAC.us. amac.us, and tell them O'Reilly sent you. Okay, here is the final thought of the day. I started the Concierge program on BillO'Reilly.com about 2 years ago. It's been stunningly successful, far more than I ever thought. Costs a little bit more than premium membership, but not a whole lot. and you get very big discounts, so you can easily make up the membership fee. But what I've noticed about this is every day we answer questions directly to the concierge members, and we don't do it publicly. So it's all private, and we don't give your names to anybody. It's just me and you. Now, a lot of concierge members, they got problems in their life. They ask me for advice. I dispense it. I can't give you medical advice or financial advice, but I can tell you what I would do, that kind of a thing. But I always get letters like, you said this, when I didn't say it. And I always write back to the person respectfully, because we love our concierge members, tell me where I said it, or give me some backup to that. Never, when I write that kind of an answer back to a concierge member, in 2 years, no one has ever produced what they originally allege, which leads me to people believe what they want to believe. Remember that mantra that I've told you? People hear what they want to hear in many cases. Don't do that. The secret to a successful life, to helping as many people as you can, to being loyal to your family, to being a loving, good person, is to deal with reality the way it is, not the way you want it. Seek out what's real. Don't hear what you want to hear. Hear what is actually being said and know what is actually happening, and that's why we are here for you. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. New column Sunday at noon. We'll see you on Monday. Are you looking for your next investment? Bill O'Reilly here. There are 8 reasons to look at the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund. Stable monthly cash flow payouts with double-digit targeted bonus returns. They strategically develop in lower risk, high demand neighborhoods. Prime new construction is short on supply and high on demand. Diversification is safety from stock market risk. They have a short and long-term strategy for returns today and down the road. Specifically designed pandemic-hardened buildings. They are 15-year industry leaders with a proven track record. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines or want to diversify, please start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.